Okay, I did this last year to help some students, and then I actually gave it as a presentation to the Healthcare Financial Management Association of Michigan. So it's kind of to help you do your resume. Um, so why you think you have a great resume? I guarantee you, most of you resumes are not accomplishing what you think they're accomplishing. So here's the most important fact. On average, employers look at resumes for 6 to 7 seconds, right? Um, so if that's on average, now that's a statistic that I learned, oh God, 25 years ago. And you know, I Googled it recently and it's still 6 to 7 seconds. So if that's the average, that means there's a lot that are getting looked at for 2 seconds, right? Uh, because if somebody's looking at for a minute, that means a lot of them are getting looked at for 1 second. So I can tell you that most of the resumes that I've looked at in my career won't get anyone's attention in 7 seconds. I'm willing to bet neither will yours. Okay? The average resume I see makes it hard for me to capture who you are and determine what you can offer without investing way more than 7 seconds, way more than a couple of minutes. Your goal is to make it easy for people like me to capture who you are and see what you have to offer, um, and not make me try to figure it out. So um, this is an actual resume. Names have been changed that I got last recently. Um, so uh, my guess is your resume probably looks something similar to this. Um, I call this the job description resume. It tells me it's basically a recitation of their job description. Um, I'm not really interested in your job description as much as I am in your accomplishments. Accomplishments. Okay. Uh, Job descriptions I'm interested in, but not to this detail level. So there's nothing that tells me really who this person is. Certainly, I don't capture my attention in 7 seconds. Makes me work too hard. Um, doesn't tell me what the accomplishments are. It doesn't tell me why I should care that this person did any of this. So let's just break it down in pieces. Okay, so this isn't bad. Um, but you know what's better? Uh, Not having light blue colors that if I print on a black and white printer are going to be faded and I'm not going to be able to read them that well. So just, you know, if Word colors your email address and this LinkedIn in blue, uh, color it black. Again, you're you're probably thinking why so anal retentive, because you're trying to do everything you can to set your resume apart. And if I print this out or my HR person prints it out and it prints the email address in light gray and I can't read it, I mean, why not be the resume that you can read? Okay, so something's really missing here. So we go from the name to the experience. Okay, what's missing is the hook. Okay, the thing that is going to grab my attention in 7 seconds. There's no hook. So this person's making me invest a couple of minutes. And again, if the average resume is looked at for 7 seconds, why are you making somebody invest more than that 7 seconds? So the goal is to hook the person in the 7 seconds so that they want to read more. So you think of it like a Super Bowl commercial. They're super expensive, right? So you have a lot of 15-second commercials, right? And so basically, you're buying a 15-second spot. All you want to do is make it noteworthy enough so that you get me interested in going to your website. Like, right? So you've got only 7 seconds to engage the potential employer. So what can you hook me with in 7 seconds? So this is a friend who I helped, okay, with her resume. So I put this profile in, right? This section. So it tells me who this person is. So this is an experienced event marketing manager, the significant experience, et cetera. You can read it for yourself, right? So what they've done is they've told me, I can read this in, I'm sure, in 7 seconds. They've told me in 7 seconds who they are. They've told me they're qualified for positions of what. They've given me a nice short thing on their skills, leadership, project management, budget management, selected areas of additional strength, executive level support, and then event management, budget accountability. So, compare the two. So all I have to do is, if I'm a prospective employer, this is the most important thing. Okay, now, presumably, if this is what I'm interested in hiring, I'm hooked. Okay, it's not it's profile. It's not career summary. I don't care about your career summary. Okay, I care about what you can do for me. I don't care about your career aspiration. There's no interest to me as an employer at this stage. I don't care about your goals. What I care about is to determine who you are in 7 seconds. And that's the profile. Okay? If you don't believe me, well, let me back up. Sorry. There's nothing wrong with having 3 or 4 different versions of your resume with your profile emphasizing, different aspects, depending obviously on how much your experience. It has to be honest. I'm not saying you're dishonest. For example, I have experience in correctional medicine. If I was to decide to go back into that area, there's nothing wrong with me in this profile, playing up my correctional medical skills or qualifications. And then, that's my correctional medical industry resume. I started a dialysis company with a bunch of physicians years ago. If I was going to, try to work for Fresenius or Total Renal Care, or whatever, there's nothing wrong with me tailoring this profile. If I was to go for a CFO job versus a CEO job versus a COO job. Okay, so you can have different versions. Again, I'm not saying anything's false. You're just what you're emphasizing. Now, if you don't believe me how important this profile is, I have extensive managed care contracting experience, right? I didn't list it in my profile. I got called by a recruiter for a VP of managed care position years ago. I sent a resume. I never heard back. I called the recruiter. She said, I don't see managed care experience in your resume. And my response was, you didn't look very hard because it was there. Okay. But we're dealing with lazy people. Okay. They're looking at a lot of resumes. My managed care experience is extensive. It was buried in my resume. I should have taken 5 extra minutes and I should have put it in my profile section. A lot of these resumes are scanned by optical scanner readers and they're looking for keywords. So there's nothing wrong with if you're applying for a specific job, off of something and you read the profile of the job, throw in some of those key bullet points from the ad into your profile. And it was kind of my mistake. It was her mistake in a way by not looking hard, but it was my mistake because I knew these facts and I didn't take the extra couple of minutes to just stick it in my profile. So I didn't hook this person to look deeper into and then actually see the managed care. We're literally listed 3 or 4 different jobs. I had, contracting experience and accomplishments. So I'm just telling you this profile where you hook the person is the most important thing. The next thing, experience, it's professional experience, okay? Just, it's like unfavorable, favorable, negative variance, positive variance, etc. It's professional experience. That's what I'm interested in. Okay, again, this is a job description. This is the person just took their job description and they gave a summary of it. Boring, not interested. I'm interested in accomplishments. What else is there? What is St. Elsewhere? Okay, so it's a TV show from the 80s, but it was, a hospital. I don't remember if it was Northwestern or University of Chicago or Loyola. But why do you assume that anybody knows, what Northwestern is or Loyola? Maybe you're sending it out of state. Don't make me ask, where is St. Elsewhere? She didn't have, the location. Why are you making it hard for me? Okay, I'm not familiar with the Chicago area. Okay, she wants to go to Boulder, Colorado, let's say. Okay, I don't know what Northwestern is. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I work for a health system there. Who did you report to? I want to know that. If I'm an employer, I want to know who you reported to. It gives me a solid idea of the level of work or in hierarchy where you were. Were you reporting to the president of the hospital, the director of whatever, the VP of whatever? Okay, so these are key pieces of information that I want to know that this person is making me want to ask. I don't want to ask. It's the same concept we had that I've been pounding in about a well-presented financial model. We list our assumptions, we make notes, we make it so the person reading that financial presentation doesn't have to ask me a question because I've done it and presented the assumptions so clearly. I've labeled things, I've made it neat, I've made it orderly, and I've made it so the person doesn't have to work that hard. Okay? Same thing. These are all questions that I want to know. And then again, they haven't told me what I really am interested. Yeah, I'm interested in your job description a little bit. Okay, but I'm really interested. The second most important thing I'm interested in is I'm interested in your accomplishments. right? First, I'm interested in the profile because that hooks me. That gets me wanting to know more about you. Oh, this person's interesting. Okay. Now I'm invested to look further, but don't make me difficult. Again, don't do this blue stuff. Okay. Just keep it simple. Again, this chances are HR is going to, in my position, regional CEO, I'm looking for somebody. HR is going to do the recruitment. They're going to screen these. They're going to print them off on a black and white printer. An administrative intern in light blue is going to come out light gray. And I'm 62 years old. I have reading glasses, and it's going to be hard for me to read. Don't make it hard for someone to read. Be the one that stands out. Okay, so let's look at my Dave's friends. Okay, so she worked at ATI Physical Therapy. So she told me, what they are. A national provider of physical therapy and athletic training services with over 800 clinics in 25 states. Okay. This person didn't tell me, again, it wasn't, let's just say it was Northwestern. She didn't tell me what Northwestern is. Okay. St. Elsewhere. What is it? Is it a hospital? Is it a medical center? Is it a clinic? Okay. And again, I think this was Northwestern. She's thinking, well, everyone knows what Northwestern is. No, she knows what Northwestern is, but don't assume that anyone else does. She knows her accomplishments, but she hasn't told me. So tell me your employer. Don't assume I know. A national provider of physical therapy, whatever, you can read it. 800. So immediately, wow, this is a pretty impressive place. This is a national provider. They've got 800 clinics in 25 states. This isn't like some mom and pop. Okay. A one-line profile of the company. Don't assume that anyone knows. I don't care if you work for Google. I don't care if you work for, Tesla. Don't assume that anyone knows. I would have preferred that I would have liked her to say city and state here. Little less important because it's a national provider, but yeah, I would have probably preferred her to put, Bolingbrook, Illinois. But if it's a national provider, it's a little less important. But definitely, if it's a local provider, you want to have city and state there. And you don't need to write a book. One-line profile. Don't make me Google it and find out who they are. Don't make me do any extra work. Because I'm going to default to the resumes that don't make me do extra work. I'm a busy person. Okay, so the job. Let's compare her job. So administrative or intern. Mm-hmm. Now, event marketing manager, reporting to the director of communications. I always want that. I always want to know who you're reporting to. Don't make me ask. Okay, here's her job description. Responsible for industry trade shows, presence, community sponsorships, and sales events. That's as much of the job description as I need to know. Okay, the rest I want accomplishments. Okay, and it's always selected accomplishments because of course you have more, but it's you don't want to write a book. Okay, so let's look at the difference. Analyzed and ran reports for monthly solid Oregon transport meeting and prepared for data presentation. That's not really an accomplishment. And then she also hasn't told me why I care. Why do I give a rat's, rear end about this. Okay, now let's contrast. Complete restructuring, accomplishment of trade show strategy. Still, why do I care that she restructured? Oh, leading to a 4,650% increase in leads at the most recent, convention. Okay, so she gave me an accomplishment. She restructured it. She told me why I should care about that accomplishment because it increased leads. Revised request for proposal and tracking, allowing for improved budget. Okay, so the accomplishment, now I can tell you from experience, it's going to take most of you folks 3 or 4 times. You're not going to redo your resume based on this lecture and then have it done, because this is a really tough concept for people to get. They'll go, okay, I get it. I need to do an accomplishment. And they'll say revised request for proposal and tracking management system, period. And then they just assume that I know why I should care. So you've got to stop thinking. You know what you did. You know what your accomplishments were. You know why people should care about the accomplishments. But most people, when they do their resume, they don't communicate that to the reader. They just assume that they know. Don't assume I know anything. Don't assume that I know why revising a request for proposal and tracking system would be a good thing. Okay, so she told me it's a good thing because it allowed for improved budget management, increased visibility, and return on investment. Okay, it would have been better if she could have quantified that and said, an increased return on investment of 30%. Whenever you can quantify your accomplishments, but at least tell me why I care. Managed event program consisting of over 200 events, including industry conference and trade shows, as well as corporate and client-facing events. Little job description-y. I guess the accomplishment, maybe it's a scale, so I'm going to allow it. The 200 annual events is, I think, impressive. It would have been nice if I got some kind of. Let me put it this way: this bottom one is the bare minimum of what you should have in a bullet point. Okay, it's at least giving me scale. 200 annual events. The second one going from bottom to top is better because it tells me why I should care. Increased visibility and return on investment. The top one is the best because it tells me why I should care in a quantitative manner. Okay, so I would say this is like CBA if I was grading these accomplishments. And then I would say these are, D's, because they don't really tell me, they don't give me a sense of accomplishment and why I should care that they were accomplishments. The two biggest resume mistakes I consistently see, it's a job description resume, not an accomplishments resume. Okay, so again, analyze and ran reports for solid Oregon transport meeting. Okay. Okay, so that's a job description. Now, the next one is an accomplishment. Create a set of reports and data analysis for the solid. So this is literally, I helped this was a student, and this was, I think we went through 4 iterations. And no, I don't do a resume service. This was just kind of a unique thing. So the second, I told her, give me accomplishments. So she changed that to created a set of reports and data analysis. because she created those set of, so she didn't just analyze it, she created those set of reports. So I went back to her and said, okay, why do I care that you created this report? Okay. And then she came back with create a set of reports, et cetera, which improve the understanding of wait times and improve blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, that's good. At least now I know why I care that you did this. Now I know why. I said, do you have any statistics or anything? And she said, oh yeah, we had a 15% improvement, and whatever the measure was. So I said, why are you burying the lead? Okay, right? Like, so let's look at the difference. Analyze and ran reports for monthly solid, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so okay, she analyzed and ran reports, big deal. Now, create a set of reports and data analysis for this program, which improved the understanding of wait times, leading to a 15% improvement, whatever it was. Okay, now I'm impressed. Okay, and so you need to tell me what you accomplished and why I should care that you accomplished what you did, preferably in quantitative terms. So I think, I kind of jump-started this. I jumped ahead. So this is what we kind of already went over. Again, who she reported to. So we kind of did this on the earlier slide. So again, this is okay, better, best. It was a little job description-y, but I like the 200 annual events. This, she told me why I should care, and then this, she gave it to me in a quantitative manner. So let's do another one. Corporate business development manager, reporting to the VP of sales, responsible for sales operations support. So there's my job description right there. Sales operations support. It's all you know what? And if I if I want to know more, if I'm interested enough in this person to get him to an interview, then, I may ask him. I may delve deeper. But again, you're trying to catch my attention in 7 seconds. So, implemented online expense reporting to track the sales leading. So that's the accomplishment. She implemented this tracking system, leading to improved budget accountability and return on investment of sales program. Okay, not quantitative, but maybe she just didn't have the data, but she isn't able to access the data. Sales team project manager on an internally customer, which led to enhanced business relationships, streamlined process, improved profitability. Okay, again, you're not going to be able to quantify everything, but at least she told me why. Okay, reporting to the director of talent acquisitions. Okay, tells me she reported to, responsible for managing career affairs, whatever. Okay, so a very short job description, selected accomplishments, proposed and managed company hosted career fairs. So she proposed it. Nice. And generated 150 recruit leads from a single day event. So it's quantitative. Okay. So Jane Doe's friend. Okay. This is not bad. University of Illinois Hospital and Health Science System, Chicago, Illinois. Okay, as opposed to, again, I'm in Colorado. I've heard of U of I. Isn't that Champaign-Urbana? Okay, Chicago. Okay, it's a 485-bed tertiary care system, level 2 trauma care. Okay, so it's a real place. Okay, it's giving me information as opposed to, University of Illinois Hospital. Well, don't make me look up. that a clinic? What is that? I'm from Colorado. I don't know from University of Illinois. Oh, it's a 485 bed tertiary. Okay, it's a real place. Clinical research associate. Okay. Reporting to the research lead. Okay, you frame that up. Responsible for project management. So there's my job description. 4 words. Responsible for project management. Selected accomplishments include, okay, led 5-person team in data collection procedures for whatever. Okay, why do I care that she did this? Is that really an accomplishment? Oh, okay, maybe I'll give it, but why do I care that she did that? Train team in documentation, compliance, and socio. Okay, well, what did she accomplish? Did it lead to anything? No, it's not really an accomplishment. I led a 5-person team. Okay, did it improve anything? Did it cut costs? Did it improve patient care? So this is an actual resume that I looked at. Okay, did it, train team? So what? A lot of people train teams. What did it lead to? Excite me, wow me, get me wanting to call this person and have her come in tomorrow. Okay, so here's the exercise that I had to I kind of had to do. I almost had to I had to do a mock interview, and I would say I would do this. I would try to improve your resume, and then I would have somebody do a mock interview. So I did a mock interview with this person. Okay. And I said to her, why do I care that you led a 5-person team in data collection? Like what, again, I did this as a favor to, James Doe's friend. If I'm an employer, her resume would have not made it for me to want to call this person. Okay. So I just went through this mock interview with her, which I would suggest if you're struggling to get there to the Kanzler level, do a mock interview and make notes. So I said to this person, why do I care about this? And she said, well, we secured we secured retention of a $17.5 million federal grant. I said, so why wouldn't you put that on your resume? You buried the lead. Why wouldn't you tell me that? So now led 5-person team is secured retention of $17.5 million federal grant by leading a 5-person team. Okay, see the difference? One's boring, and now, why would you not tell me this? Why, again, you're selling yourself, people. You're trying to get my attention in 7 seconds. This young lady, that's like the most important thing. They secured retention of this large federal grant, and she buried the lead. So that's the difference between a job description resume, led 5-person team, versus a resume that gets my attention. Secured retention of a $17.5 million grant by leading a 5-person team. So I'm getting excited. I'm getting ministerial here. More examples. Reporting to the associate professor. Okay, fine. Responsible for accreditation standards. Okay, that's my 4-word job description. Grew value-based care initiatives by leading pilot intervention at affiliated medical group. Successfully pitched a cost-saving implementation proposal to. Okay, I guarantee you that this is probably the first pass for most of you. Okay, so I'm doing the mock interview. Well, how much did you grow the value care initiative by? How much was the cost savings initiative? And she responded, oh, we grew it by 20%, and the cost savings was $2 million. Okay. This is like the third iteration we're doing to your resume. Why wouldn't you put that in your, you know, grew value-based care initiative by 20%? That's impressive. Successfully pitched a $2 million cost savings. So I'm beating the hell out of this point. But the reason is I am because it's not intuitive for some reason. You, each one of you, when you do your resume, I guarantee you're just going to think that the person should know by osmosis. They don't. You've got to tell them. Okay, now we've got something that as an employer is catching my attention. Okay, so a couple other things. Watch your tenses. Analyzed and ran. Coordination and preparation. Okay. Let's not mix and match your tenses. If it's a current job, you know, present tense is fine. But prior jobs, it's a past tense thing. So let's see how we tweaked it. Saying elsewhere, a 300 bed, so probably Northwestern, 1 billion net revenue, regional tertiary medical center. Okay. So that's how we changed it. Okay. So this is a real place, right? Again, I'm from Colorado. I don't know from Northwestern. Oh, this is a 300 bed, 1 billion net revenue, regional tertiary. Okay, she worked for a real place. Administrative intern for the quality transplant department. Okay. Reporting to the director of the department. Nice. Responsible for data analytics and report preparation to support the quality improvement process. Okay, nice, tight, short job description. Selected accomplishments include. Okay, and we kind of talked about this, that we changed that to secured retention of $17.5 million federal grant by. Okay, so Jane Doe. Okay, this is another one. Oh, no, this is Jane Doe again, sorry. Education, again, don't give me the blue collar, please. Graduation dates, just, you know, from to, I don't think you need to get August and May. Year is fine. The less professional experience you have. Okay, let's go skills. Skills is nice to have. Professional affiliations, yeah, I like that. Leadership and service activities. You know, the less experience you have, you know, this kind of stuff is important. You're trying to, you know, pad your resume a little bit, show some outside activities that may have been, you know, outside of work or as part of a, you know, that just demonstrates. So I kind of like this. I mean, as she progresses in her career, this kind of stuff is less important. But to round out a 2-page resume with a little filler, that's fine. Okay, Dave's my friend. Again, as you gain professional experience, this kind of filler stuff is less important, and your job experience is more. So this is hers, education and certification. She kind of combined, that's nice. Certified trade manager, so that's an actual certification that's relevant to her job, nice. You know, North Central College, Bachelor of Arts, International. Spanish is kind of nice. No date, you know, that's, I think the older you get, the people tend to take their date of graduation off. Uh, I guess I understand why, but I kind of prefer it. And I think you just really need the date. And then selected skill set. I like this because unfortunately, you can't assume that people have these skills. Um, so I love selected skill sets. Um, Again, professional experience is the most important thing, but to round out a resume, so she's fluent in Spanish, um, social media, Microsoft Office is nice to know, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. If you're just starting out and have limited professional experience, it's okay to put your education before the professional experience. So this is my son. Yeah, he had just graduated last year. Uh, and, his professional experience, he worked at our surgery center, during COVID to help out taking temperatures. Um, he was a bartender. So those are good things, but that's not what you want to lead with. So he was just graduated. So, we want to lead with his education. So, he has 2 majors. He got 2 degrees, Bachelor of Arts and Science, math and philosophy, GPA, Dean's List. So again, this he just graduated undergrad. He had limited professional, so it's kind of a different focus because he doesn't have the professional work experience. So this just kills me. I swear to God, 20% of the resumes I get say resume.docx or resume.pdf. Oh my God, no. Don't make me look. I look at your resume, I get it in email, I save it in some folder, and then I'm like, what was that person? Don't make me look through 10 files or it says replace. I save it, it comes resume and I download it. It says resume.pdf already exists. Okay, first of all, you always want to send a PDF. Don't send a Word file. And the reason is because they may have a different version of Word and it may give funky things to the formatting. Okay, so don't send a Word file. Save it as a PDF. A PDF is going to print, WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. MS Word, you never know if it's a different version, how it's going to look, and you never really know how it's going to print. Okay, the printer could be different. Your printer could accept narrower margins than the other person's printer. So just PDF. And then save it with your name, please. Okay, not Jane Doe PDF, not JD resume, your name, Jane Doe resume.pdf. Dave Kanzler, I do mine 2002, or 2023 or 2021. I do that just so it's tracking for me that I know it's what version it is, and it lets the employer kind of know it's updated. But for God's sake, put your full name and say resume. So, Aaron Rodgers resume.pdf. 1-inch margins so the reviewer can make some notes in the margins. Spell check, please. Proofread again. So let's just look at mine quick. And this isn't a comprehensive one. This is just pieces of mine. So my hook, senior financial operation executive, you can read it. Okay. So I give an overview. I say I'm qualified for positions of CEO, CFO, or COO, right? So I don't have to make the person guess. I'm telling them this is what I'm qualified for. So they don't have to guess. I wonder if he's qualified for this. No, I'm telling them. Okay, my biggest skill set is probably, you know, leadership, change management, P&L management that improves organizations. Okay, operational performance. And then you know what? I want to hit them with I got an MBA from the University of Chicago. I'm a registered CPA. I I have Big Four audit, especially if I was applying for CFO position. That's really important. And then I do selective areas of additional strength. Okay, so this is my 7-second hook. You know, were I looking for a job? This is what, again, and I might tailor this a bit. So tells them who they're dealing with. Doesn't say my aspirations because they don't care about my aspirations. Doesn't care what my goals are because they don't care about it. It tells them who I am so they can see and say, is this kind of a person a fit for what we need? And then just some highlights. So FICOR, Chicago and Nashville. It was a publicly traded company that managed over 100 large multi-specialty practices nationally, as well as HMOs, blah, 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 covering 1 million. Okay. So it was a publicly traded company. It had some scale, 1 million managed care lives. Okay. I was regional VP, vice president of managed care operations. So that's kind of what the title was. It was bulky. That's when I was in Nashville. Okay, reported to the division CEO. Okay, so I reported to the CEO. I was a true vice president. I wasn't a bank vice president where everyone is a vice president. With direct P&L responsibility for 6 markets, serving several thousand physicians. Okay, so that's kind of my job description in a nutshell. And then I'm given some scale. I had 6 markets, several thousand physicians, 170,000 managed care patients. I would use lives now. Over 200 million in annual medical costs. So that was my responsibility to manage. I managed 6 executive directors with a staff of over 200. So I had 200 people that, you know, reported up through me. Selected accomplishments. Okay, I developed and implemented new markets, added new clients. Okay, why should they care about that? Because it improved annual profitability about by $1 million. Okay, so you can go through this. I don't have to read it, but I'm showing you. And then this is actually, you know, negotiate numerous HMO contracts, inclusive full risk life. Actually, yeah, I know why. I remember why I highlighted this job. Because remember the jet person who said she didn't see managed care in my resume. So this was on page 2. So I was VP of managed care operations. I negotiated all these HMO contracts, and I generated at the University of Chicago. I generated over $2 million in annual savings by restructuring all financial relationships, operational areas, and by renegotiating all payer and provider contracts. Okay. Again, I give quantitative examples whenever I can. 500,000 a month, 22% increase, $2 million. But look at this. So would you say I have managed care contracting experience? I kind of think I do, right? But I didn't put it in my profile, and this was buried on page 2. So it was shame on me. But you see here, the point of this is quantitative whenever I can be. In the back, I list in priority order what I want them to focus on. Okay. So at my stage of career, um, my board relationships. So I'm, um, currently serve on the board of Specialty Risk of America. And also Special Insurance Services. I was a past board member of Paragon Medical. It's a private equity portfolio company. So that's almost, I mean, and my education's important, but at 62 years old, my board relationships are more current and important than, my education. I don't list the dates, just figure, I'm trying to protect against age discrimination, I guess. That's fine. But I list, okay, University of Chicago, MBA with honors, University of Illinois, accountancy with honors, my CPA. They want to vet me. There's my license number. They can look me up. And then other is, my U of I adjunct lecture. And then I just put this in. I have a Coast Guard captain's license. That I just do that to potentially start a conversation. Okay, I don't want to go overboard with that, but maybe someone's into boating. Maybe it's kind of, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe it's an icebreaker. So what I would do is I would print this out and I would adhere to it as literally as possible. And then I really think this mock interview process is a good idea, where somebody just reads your resume to you and says, looks at all your job description bullet points and reads them and says, why do I, and just say the words, why do I care after each one? If your accomplishments don't tell me why I should care, you got more work to do. And sometimes it just helps having somebody mock interview you and say, what did leading this 5-person team accomplish? And then they'll come out, well, we got a $17 million grant. So again, it's not to be critical of people. It's just, what you did. And there's a natural assumption to just think that everyone knows what you did. Okay. But you got to tell people what you did. So hopefully this is helpful. It's not strictly finance, but I think there's a need.